Joining us this week on countrymusicjunkies.com is Davey T. Hamilton, a country music newcomer. Davey, thank you so much for joining us.
Great to be here. Good morning.
All right, so for fans who don't know too much about Davey T. Hamilton and your music, can you give us a little bit of background about where you came from and what you're trying to do?
Wow. Well, I'll try to keep it as short and simple as I can. I got started in music actually pretty late in life, where a lot of people, when they moved down here, their story is, I started playing guitar at age 5 or 6 and grew up singing in church. That's like as far from the truth as possible when it comes to my story. I grew up playing sports. Actually had no interest in music at all.
Oh, wow.
And, while I was at the University of Kentucky, my roommate had a guitar. Just sitting downstairs, we had a two-story condominium, and I just started playing it, started noodling around, and started skipping classes, and just kind of got obsessed with it, and just started learning how to play lots of other instruments along with that, and started singing, and moved to Nashville probably 5 or 6 months after I graduated from there. And as soon as I moved down here, and I had a rude awakening. I was a pretty naive kid. I just got out of college and saw that really nobody was going to help me. So I maxed out 5 credit cards and set up a recording studio.
Wow.
Yeah, and I was like, well, I don't have any money to make recordings, and nobody is really thinking that I'm good enough to give me money to make recordings, so I'm going to try to learn how to do this myself. So it was not easy. It was, banging my head against the wall, headache, learning how to do it. But after about 2 or 3 years, I would say, okay at it. And got some interest from some publishers down on Music Row, which is the area of Nashville where a majority of the publishers and record labels are, and signed a publishing deal. And I was able to quit my day job, and that was, just living here for a couple of years. I did that for 3 years, and I also, got an independent record deal at the time and put out a single that completely flopped, which we were discussing earlier before the interview started. Here I am a couple of years later on my own. I'm trying to do this independently. I have the ability to make my own records, and right now I'm trying to push, a lot of free music away off of my website, and I'm just trying to build a fan base on, YouTube and Facebook. So I guess that kind of breaks it down a little bit, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. So basically, you're taking social media and trying to increase your fan base, which makes a lot of sense in today's technological world. And I know that you do have a lot of fans that way, and that is how we discovered you. So that is a great means for you. Now, tell us a little bit more about your actual music and your songwriting and that sort of stuff.
Okay, my music and songwriting, I don't really know how to categorize it. I've been really different here in Nashville compared to a lot of your commercial artists, and it's not because I'm trying to be different. I've kind of been given, I think, a God-given sound and kind of a vision in my head, and what I try to do is I try to recreate that, and however that comes across, I'm not sure. I would classify it as kind of a southern rock country type mix. I grew up listening, obviously, to a lot of 80s rock and 90s kind of, I guess, is when the alternative thing kind of came in, and I also grew up listening to, your Garth Brookses and your Alan Jacksons and your Travis Tritts and Shenandoahs and Alabamas, and I could go on and on. And I'm guessing the melodies and the lyrics and the stories and stuff that I hear in my songs are probably heavily influenced by what I was influenced by. So, however it could be categorized, I would say southern rock country, but everybody that creates their own music and is their own artist and songwriter sometimes is a little too close to their music, and other people might perceive it differently than they do.
Yeah, no.
That's how I would perceive it.
Absolutely. So, are there any artists that are kind of current that you channel in your music at all? Any artists that you would relate yourself to, or not so much?
I don't really know. I get a lot of comparisons to Keith Urban, and when I moved to town, I was compared to him a lot because we both had kind of longer blonde hair. And, at first, I didn't really know how to take it. I take it as a huge compliment now because the guy's extremely talented. But I took it kind of as, I'm not trying to be Keith Urban, and I got to a point to where I shaved my head because I didn't want to look like him or anything. I've even got some pictures on the internet that show me with a really short haircut. But that's probably who I'd be compared to the most because I'm a guitar player. I've got blonde hair, and I'm kind of a pop southerny rocky artist. But other than that, I mean, I really don't know anybody currently on the charts that I would really be comparable to.
Well, I mean, Keith Urban is a great artist to be compared to, and I know maybe you don't necessarily want to look like him, although most of the ladies love him, so maybe you do. But he's definitely a pretty powerful artist and has done very well. So if they're comparing your sound to him, that's not too bad, I would say.
Yeah, he's amazing. I just want to be my own artist, and I don't want anybody to think that I'm trying to emulate anybody else. But I take it as an extreme compliment.
Well, that's good. That makes sense. Now, tell us a little bit about the free downloads. I know you provide a lot of your music for free online. Tell us a little bit more about that and where people can access that.
Yeah, okay. For the next 12 months, I will be offering 2 to 3 new downloads a month at DaveyT.com. That is www.daveyt.com. And I'll probably have, I don't really know how much time we're going to have for video production, but I'm hoping to have a video maybe for each song or maybe each other song. So maybe 2 new videos a month for each song. A lot just depends on where I'm at as far as budget and time goes.
Absolutely.
So basically you can go to my website, DaveyT.com, and you add yourself as a member, where basically you just put in your email address, your name, personal information, where you're from, and you will have access to free downloads for the next 12 months.
That is awesome. That is great. Now, are we going to be expecting any kind of new singles for you? I know you had a single a couple of years ago, you were saying. Are you still kind of pursuing that?
Where I'm at financially right now, I've actually got some interest and actually stirred some interest here in Nashville with some people off of YouTube, and I've got meetings all day tomorrow regarding that. But as far as that goes, it takes a lot of money to promote a single, and like I told you earlier, I'm doing this all on my own, and I don't really have the budget to promote a radio single. So I'm just going to be focusing all my efforts on online marketing right now, trying to build a fan base, and hopefully can find an investor, or maybe there'll be a label here in town that's interested in taking me up and helping me promote a single. So.
Well, we wish you all the best of luck with that. Are you performing at all in Nashville?
Not right now. I don't do a whole lot of shows here in Nashville, not because of the money, because, obviously I do this because I love to do it, but, typically here in Nashville, you can't make any money. You can't, they don't pay anybody because it's so competitive, and you got so many musicians that want to play. People are willing to play for free.
Right.
Well, I'm kind of in the medium boat. I haven't just moved here, and I haven't had a whole lot of success. So not just moving here, I don't really need to pound the pavement and network, because I've got a lot of great deal connections. But at the same time, I'm at a level now to where I can't really afford to play for free, because I don't have the money to pay musicians. And if you don't have the money to pay musicians, you're not going to have a well-rehearsed band. And it's really better not to perform than to perform if you're going to be performing really sloppy.
Exactly.
Especially in a town like Nashville, where you really need to be, at your best at all times. So I do not do a whole lot here in Nashville. I might do an acoustic solo writing thing every now and then, but as far as full band stuff goes, I kind of stick to doing fairs and festivals, outside of Nashville, where I can actually afford to pay my musicians and we can put on a decent show.
And would information about that also be on your website if people wanted to check that out?
Yes, there's a section on the website that has the schedule of shows that I'm doing.
Awesome. Okay, well, great. That's awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. This is Davey T. Hamilton on countrymusicjunkies.com. Be sure to check him out at DaveyT.com. If you have any questions or anything like that, you can contact him through the website. And, thank you again for joining us.
Thanks. Great to be here.